name is Sirrano Keith Baldeo out of District 2. I am stuck with the high opportunity areas and the language of segregation. I think if I get it, we're talking about financial segregation. Are we, instead of racial segregation, or both?
Oh no, we're talking about huge amounts of racial segregation.
Okay.
Huge amounts. And just to put this into context, the city of Dallas is majority minority. And so these green areas that you're seeing shown on that map are virtually all minority, completely non-white populations. That's in contrast to what we see at a regional level, where what we're seeing is that Dallas, Fort Worth are bearing the majority of the minority population in the entire region, which creates segregation in the first place. But Dallas as a whole is segregated versus the region because they hold most of the minority population. Then on top of that, within Dallas, we see huge amounts of minority segregation, non-white segregation. And it's occurring in that entire green area that we showed on the map.
Can we put that map up?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the area in red is right in the middle is University Park, Highland Park, and then it goes all the way up. So we're saying on top is wealthy, then it goes down,
it's
white.
white.
It's white. Okay.
You could also say it's wealthy, yes.
All right. So we're talking that's where the wealth and the middle class and the really impoverished area down where the green is, right?
Well, the green is. I will make the statement, and I will agree with you that it's impoverished, but it's also segregated. This is just racial segregation.
Okay. And you have numbers, I'm sure, studies to support that.
Absolutely. So the definition that we see here for this medium or relatively dark green there, we're seeing that the minority population or non-white population is there's 30 to 40% greater than the average, than what the mean value for the city is, which puts it from about 93% to 100% non-white.
And did you do any study to find out how it got to that point today? From that point till today, was it part of the past segregation and it just filled in where wealthy white people, as you would say, went up there or stayed up there? There might have been hand-downs, wealth handed down to them, and then the minority population happened to be Spanish and blacks, stayed down here. So you think it just trickled down that way and formed to that map? Or do you think that white people just says, look, we don't want African Americans or minorities in our area, so let's just push them down there? Was there any effort to do that? Or what was the study?
I don't think we want to go into the long history of housing patterns and redlining and other things that have occurred in the Dallas area.
Well, if it came up to that map, I think it's important.
Well, it's important. I think we need to put the conversation in a historical context. The way housing policies were written in the 50s and the 60s has led to patterns of segregation. So housing policies at the federal level were racially targeted.
Right.
And so this is why you have those patterns of segregation. Some movements might have been deliberate, but they were subsidized. Other movements were forbidden. There was an issue of illegality. So I think it's important for us not to deny the historical context and the role of policy, and this is why we're discussing policy today. If we understand that policies have created patterns of segregation, then policies can be a tool to disaggregate those neighborhoods. So that's one of the reasons, and then we can get lost into some sentiment analysis of why people move and why don't people move. What we know is that housing policies were racially targeted and has led to patterns of segregation.
And today there are laws that prohibits that, correct?
If you prohibit, you don't repair.
Okay, so to coming back to the I'm sorry, nobody said their name. So what's her name? Coming back to Miss Linda Garman's question about high priority areas. So the red is a high priority area. Am I?
It doesn't have to be completely red.
Opportunity. I'm sorry, opportunity.
Right, but the opportunity could be in yellow areas. The opportunity could be in some of the light green areas. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a red area. However, what we definitely want to get rid of is the super dark green area.
Okay.
I mean, that's not conducive to a non-segregated city.
Is your plan to move people from the green area to the red area, and so they can have opportunities up there?
Okay. We do not have a specific plan for moving anyone. The whole point is that policy should be established to make sure that the recipients of housing assistance have access to opportunities. It does not do. Give me just another minute or two.
Go ahead.
Okay. It doesn't do us any good to provide housing to someone and not talk about how do they get a job? Where are they going to work? Where are their children going to go to school? How are they going to find the transportation necessary to achieve these? It makes no sense to talk about these in isolation. We have to talk about this in a comprehensive and inclusive way. And sure, some people might end up in red, but we're not talking about moving all of South Dallas to North Dallas.
Neither am I, but there was a law, I think it was just passed in New York or New Jersey, where you have to take wealthy areas, you have to take certain minorities or impoverished people and have a percentage of them be established in wealthy neighborhoods. That was just passed. I want to know if you're going there, number one. And the United Nations did a study, and in their study is a $300 book they just put out. I mean, they put it out 10 years ago. It talks about the environment. Okay, if you change the environment, if you change the mentality of the people, if you develop it, then people will conform to it. So if you're looking at the green area, instead of saying, well, let's dump you over in the red thing, and if you look at like a city like Patterson, you had something called white flight. When impoverished people moved from South Carolina or the Carolinas to Patterson, a lot of them moved to Wayne and Clifton, and they didn't want the association, which is a racism that's today's underlying, but it's not public. So instead of doing that, why don't you're also asking to establish a fund. I don't know where the money's going to come. That is my next question.
I understand.
So, because funding is hard in Patterson, as you know. I'm sorry, I mean in Dallas. And so I have a newspaper in Patterson actually, but so there are a lot of news on this. So why not get a fund, and why not establish, because you see those people that live in the red area, they're a lot of philanthropists there. There are a lot of people who want to help the poor. And I've seen the kind of money they invest through the churches and other organizations. So why not come up with a fund that turned the green area into the red area and do that study what the United Nations did. Start developing the green area into a higher opportunity area instead of reversing it and saying, look, you guys got the money. I don't know if you got it from your father or your old parents or whatever it came from, but you have it, and you have high opportunities over there, but we got a percent of the people we want to take and put them in your area because that's where the high opportunities are, and we're going to do it through housing, which is what you're doing a housing study here, and then see what happens. Maybe they'll get opportunities, maybe they won't, maybe they'll tee you off. I don't know what's going to happen when those two meet, but in Patterson, when it met, one went and left because they said, in poverty comes crime, comes a lot of things, and that has been established in this impoverished area. So my question is, why not reverse it back down and look to turn the green into the red and And look at that study that the United Nations did, and says if you change the science of the environment and you spend the money there and teach these people how to be wealthy, rich, because I have a program called a Millionaires Program for Kids. If you teach their mentality and change them how to live like they live, maybe they'll want to live in this area. But what I'm seeing right now, when I saw that map, I was shocked. I was like, I hope you're not going there, because there's a whole other historic part where you take people and put them in that environment, and these people who've worked their lives and they have a different, there's a different lifestyle up there. There is. They live a different lifestyle, and the people down here live a different lifestyle. When you take those two cultures and you try to put them together, one move. They don't always mix. One move. And they feel, because I'm wealthy, I have all this money, I have a way that I treat people, I'm always smiling, laughing, and these people are always looking to get into my face and angry. There is a culture clash there. So what I'm suggesting, because this is a suggestion group, is that the funding that you're looking for to get housing initiatives, to put them in the red area, so that I have high opportunities. Because if I live in the second ward and there's an opportunity in that red area and I'm qualified for that opportunity, you better believe I'm going to go for it and get it if I present myself to the opportunity, which I do, and I it's working out for me, and I'm a minority. So I'm just saying, I would encourage you to read the book, and it's $300, but get it, read it. They did the study. If you change the mentality of a environment, the people will change to conform to it. If you look at Dubai, it was a fishing town that nobody cared about. And these oil barons, and you're in oil country here, they spend billions of dollars from the oil to develop it to a certain lifestyle. And then all these people decided to fit into that lifestyle. The people who did not educate themselves or didn't have those opportunities or didn't get to go to college, they end up actually working in those multi-billion-dollar hotels when these people come in with their Rolls Royces and stuff. So it fits. If you take the green and try to bring the red to it, instead of trying to take the green and push it up to the red. I'm just saying.
No, I hear what you're saying. Part of that is goal 4. Goal 4 is about investing in areas to turn them into higher opportunity areas.